I'm just taking us live. Okay. Good morning from South Dakota. Good morning, June. Okay. Today we are talking about what essentials do you need to run a bookkeeping business? All of those things. Is there anyone that's like super new to bookkeeping as far as like your business, your tech stack? Does anyone, where are you guys at on your like tech stack or like the software you're using? Are you pretty good with it? Are you like at the beginning and you're like, give me all the details? Where in the spectrum do you fall? Okay. So what I love about this business is this business can be done completely from your computer. Some of you will find clients that really want you to go in to their office. I was just chatting with a bookkeeper who has a potential that might want her to come in a couple of times a week or something like that. Sometimes it's more frequently. It's every day. And that's up to you. But if you're like, hey, I just want to be able to have a laptop and take it wherever I go, you can do that. And we're going to talk about the tools and kind of software that we use for that end. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning.
Okay. We are live and recording.
Okay, awesome. My computer is not liking Zoom lately. The last 2 days, for some reason, as soon as I hit start, everything goes crazy. So I'm like,
I'm not even using Zoom anymore from like an app. It's just like, please just open it in the browser. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know anymore. Zoom is being funky, just in general. Now, with that, we have little glitches that can happen with software all the time. So,
Yeah.
with that, considering Financial Sense or Anchor, is that helpful with fewer than 10 clients? Okay, so we'll get into the main softwares that me and Megan use. And me and Megan use the same software. Megan, is there anything, there's like one piece of software that isn't the same, but
Yeah, I think you're right. It's all the same.
but yeah, it's all the same. So Financial Sense, I have not used directly myself. And then Anchor, that's the payment platform, correct? I know we've had students switch to Anchor. We recommend Equip 360. So for that, you can use Stripe or Megan uses QuickBooks. Okay. Using Google Meet. Yeah, we use Google Meet. So let's get into what we use. There's a lot of good options. We like free, inexpensive, consistent, tested software. So your main software is going to be QuickBooks Online Accountant. So when I got started, I kind of knew about the accountant version, but I didn't really understand it. I didn't have anyone guiding me through this mess of starting a business. And I thought I had to like purchase desktop because I come from CPA backgrounds. That's what we did. And you just threw all the clients in. QuickBooks Online Accountant is free. So you're going to go to QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Online Accountant, and you're going to set up an account for your firm. Pay attention to that because it's going to be for your business. You can do your bookkeeping inside of that account. So for your business, you do not need to purchase a separate QuickBooks account for yourself. So when we say, hey, are you learning QuickBooks by doing your own bookkeeping? We mean inside of QuickBooks Online Accountant, free of charge to you. Okay. With that said, then all of your clients go into that portal. So you will be giving them the email that you use to create that account for the rest of like your life in business. Megan, have we figured out if we can change that email
Yes,
without like
you
changing? You can, like you
you
just
can
call
check like your login information. So you can
like,
still use it to log use. So I just updated mine recently. So it'll change like all the information. If you go into your settings, you can change your email address there. So everything that the client gets is with that email address. But like, and I can send them the new email address to give me access, but my login information still stays the same.
that's what I thought. So if you're like starting out with a Gmail account, you've already done a Gmail account, abcbookkeeping@gmail.com. And later you're like, hey, I want to be Denise at abcbookkeeping.com. You would just go into settings and change that. That way you can give the clients the new email. Okay, so that's free. That's number one. That is bare minimum. And that is everything you technically need to have this business. You can have a free Gmail, you can use QuickBooks Online, and you can go make money tomorrow in this business. Go for it.
Just another thing to touch on with that, because, and the only reason, because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and I never even, like, obviously we know, because that's what we started out with, that there's so many benefits to having the accountant account. But a comment from another bookkeeper yesterday who's brand new, just starting out, was like, well, can I just get login information or whatever? One, you don't want login information from your clients' books or bank accounts or anything like that anyway. But there are certain features that you have as an accountant and things that you can do as an accountant if you have access like that than just being a team member or having their login information and stuff, because you do have your accountant toolbox. So if you're brand new and you're like, well, kind of going back and forth, do it. It's free. There's no reason not to. It benefits you more to have it set up.
Absolutely. So like reclassing transactions and you have more reports. It is set up for you versus them.
Yep.
In a pinch, like if you're like in a grocery store and someone's like, hey, I want to give you money, sure, they can start out by adding you as a team. You're just going to have a lot of limitations. Yeah. That's a really good point, Megan.
I had never thought about it, like I said, just because it was one of those things that was like drilled in from the beginning, get an account, and I didn't have any other clients or anything to start with. So when it came up yesterday, I was like, oh, good question.
Very good question. Okay, so that's QuickBooks Online Accountant. I'm assuming everyone on here has access to QuickBooks Online Accountant. If you don't, let us know and we'll get you the link. Like there's no commission for us. Like it is just, if you need help finding what you need there, let us know. But that's typically where everyone starts. With just that free piece of software, you can go make money. Does that make sense? Okay. Two, I'm going to go in the order that we went last time in terms of like, this is how I would add them to like, because you could always set up QuickBooks with like a personal email. I think I did that at the very beginning with a client and it was like my personal email, QuickBooks Desktop, whatever like got me money in the door, I guess, is how I started. So then a free Gmail account, Workspace. But if I were to pay for it, I would do like the Google Workspace or Microsoft Office. I would go ahead and do that. That way I have an email way to, but as I say this, I'm a little like, well, yeah, because an email, if you want to do like a workflow software, Anchor, Financial Sense, like you're going to need some sort of email to like sign into all of these things and get the communication for yourself. So Google Workspace, I use, Megan, you use Google Workspace.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
The
had
other,
just my business at Gmail when I first started. So I didn't have to have that additional cost.
yep. But you have access to Google Drive that way.
Yep.
You have access to Google Docs and Google Sheets. So you don't have to have Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, any of those things. You have access to PowerPoint should you want to create something like a brochure or something like that. Like it's all free. So it's all just that $6 to $12, $14 expense a month. When I started, it was as low as $6. I think there's still a plan that's like, but if you do
Yeah.
ABC bookkeeping at gmail.com, it's free. So that's your email option. You can use Microsoft Office and it's going to have Word, Excel, storage, email, chat, video. It's going to use Microsoft Teams instead of Google Meet. So you don't need Zoom is what I'm saying, basically. You don't need to pay for Zoom. You don't have to pay for Calendly. A lot of that's going to be built into Microsoft Office and Google Workspace. So you can do appointments. You can set up appointments, send them a link. There's still a link they can schedule on your calendar. You don't have to pay for extra things if you have that. Okay. And then keeper.app. Wait, is there anything else on the email, Google Docs situation?
Yeah, no, that would be my next step.
And then I would do, yeah, Keeper next. And that is going to replace the workflow system in QuickBooks Online Accountant. So if you're trying to keep track of tasks and what you're doing for the clients, all of those things, that's going to go inside of Keeper. But it's also going to be your secure portal. So for instance, we do not want clients emailing us bank account numbers and routing numbers and login information because it's hackable. It puts their information at risk, and we're going to try to do our best to keep their information as protected as possible. Keeper is SOX compliant, which means it, from an IT standpoint, it meets certain criteria to be a safe uploading portal. And Keeper takes the responsibility of making sure the software is like protected. They don't take legal like you and your client still have an agreement, but they're on the back end to stay SOX compliant, doing the work to stay compliant to avoiding hackers and glitches like that, if that makes sense. Security backend. But I am not good at, not my field of expertise. Okay, so Keeper does, you can, what it does is it syncs to QuickBooks Online. It can pull in transactions. So if you're still sending Excel sheets, like massive Excel sheets or an Excel sheet every month to your client saying, hey, what are these transactions? It replaces having to do that. It's a secure portal, really easy to use. The clients can use it on their phone. There's a mobile app. They can email receipts to it. They can text receipts to it. Which is a little easier for my clients than uploading them to QuickBooks Online. It takes less time. And then Keeper's AI will like help identify what it is, and then it connects it to QuickBooks for you. If you do anything involving taxes, it does some tax research for you. It helps you there. It is your month-end close checklist. So we use it for, any of our weekly, daily tasks, and then we use it for month-end close. It is really good for month-end close. But you can use it for daily recurring tasks. We use it for all tasks. I know in some other Facebook groups, I've seen people use Keeper plus another software. You do not have to do that. We use it really well for daily tasks, weekly tasks, things that need approval, reoccurring tasks, and that. And Keeper is doing a really good job keeping up with like the development over there is really good as far as, hey, we need something, fix this, or hey, you broke this. They don't break stuff very often, but sometimes we're always like, hey, can you make this improvement? And they will make it. If enough people want it, if there's a valid need for it. So recently, Megan, they added a sign-off feature a couple months ago, which is
Oh,
really nice.
really? That's helpful.
So like someone can do a task and then like they'll sign off that it's done and then you can sign off on it because you can't put like two people on like a task. So that works better for, I think, bookkeeping and just like running an accounting firm versus like Asana. Just because of how like it organizes the task and like pings people what's next. What else does Keeper do? Keeper can be some sort of document storage. I don't like using it for document storage. I make a copy in Google Drive and organize it there. That way it's just everything is in one spot, organized in the way I want it. You can do some organization in Keeper for files. It's your firm tasks. So if you're like chronically writing down a long to-do list for things that aren't bookkeeping related, it handles that as well. Time tracking. So you know how much time you're spending on clients. There's some settings that allow you to like, if you're on client A and you switch to client B, it can prompt you saying, hey, do you want to switch your time? And so it helps you switch your time and pay attention to how much time you're spending on clients or your team later. Time tracking. 1099s and vendor requests. So if you're collecting W-9s, if you're sending 1099s, you can request that W-9 directly from the vendor. So if you have like clients who use the same vendor, you can get it and kind of share it across your clients and things like that. So vendor request is really helpful, especially for 1099s, and that's coming up. What else does it do? It does so much. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube and their website. There's also a Facebook group. So if you need something, I have found their support to be pretty helpful personally. I can typically either figure it out or get the answer I need pretty quickly. Yes, Brad Rice. I don't know why I just felt the need to say your last name. And I just dropped it in the chat for you guys. It is $8 to $10 per client. If you haven't started charging for it, just add $15 to your like quote. You can do that in the form of like an admin fee or just raise your, like, instead of quoting 300, quote 325. And you will cover some of the, like, that will help you cover your expenses going forward, your Google Workspace, your Keeper, whatever else we start to talk about. But those are the three like essentials. We can get into like how we process payments and things like that, but those are the three essentials. Right, Megan? Like you could just use those three and be 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Keeper is something that came out I'm going to say recently. It's been a couple of years now, but like I started my business 6 years ago. So like when I started, it was QuickBooks Online and Google Workspace. That was it. That's all I used, so you are able to use those things just starting out, So yeah, Keeper would definitely be like, I wish it was one of those things that was there when I first started, especially because of the cost, like $10 a client, like that's easy to add that on to those fees. And get in the habit of using it and doing all the things from the beginning for sure. And it's one of those things that it's not a reoccurring, like you're not paying for it now, you're paying for it once you have some income coming in with those clients.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you do not need to go play around in Keeper before you have a client. Like you can sign the client, charge the admin fee, then set them up in Keeper.
Yeah.
And like with that, Keeper kind of becomes like it's a kind of a hack, Megan, in terms of like, what do you do? What is bookkeeping? What are you supposed to like give the clients? It sends reports for you. It has like basic, you're going to reconcile code transactions. Like that is kind of already set up for you. So if you don't use any of our checklists, you don't use any of Keeper's checklists, the default is going to get you like bare minimum deliverables out the door at the end of the week. Like if you were to sign a client today, wrap them up by next week, you're going to be confident that you're giving them what they asked for. Or what a bookkeeper should be doing. I can't speak for what they asked for, actually.
Yeah, because sometimes you never know.
Yeah, sometimes we just so that will help set expectations. Now, above and beyond that, we would recommend Equip 360, and that is your website. That can be your engagement letter software. Sorry. You can send documents and do invoicing. So it will connect to Stripe, and you can auto bill those invoices out every month. So that's an option. So your lead magnet, your email list, your social media calendar, your everything else's. You at the point that you feel like you need a website or you're going to start email marketing, I would do that. Megan, do you have the link?
I can pull it real quick.
I didn't pull it up. Sorry, I got the Keeper one.
There you go, Brad.
Thank you. That was quick. Quicker than I could have done. So Equip 360 is like you could use Squarespace, you can use Wix. They're just going to be a lot more limited in your email marketing, and they're going to start charging you per like lead. It does charge you per like email and stuff like that, but it's so minimal. Like me and Megan don't really notice the cost of like sending an email. It's just pretty minimal. The return on sending those emails is typically so much greater than that when you get there. So if you feel the need to like, so Canva, for instance, has a social media if you're on a calendar, if you're on Pro. If you're like, hey, I'm getting away with the free Canva, I would consider like doing Equip 360, then upgrading Canva and Kajabi, Wix, Constant Contact, Squarespace, like all of these other platforms, social media scheduling. It replaces all of that. It replaces so much, Megan. So invoicing, payments, especially if you set it up at the beginning. I'm already kind of in another software for payments, and it's like harder to get off of it than it is to just start. You absolutely could. It just would take like a lot of effort to transition over time. And for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like I would have to do like all the clients like in a really short time period to make it worth switching. So, okay. So Equip 360 would be the fourth, and like at the point that you want any sort of website, any sort of lead magnets, any sort of funnel workflows, all of that. And that's even to nurture your current clients. So you can nurture them a little bit through Keeper. You can mass email your clients through Keeper. Anyone who's in Keeper active, you can email through there. There's like an announcement feature. If you're like, hey, the office is closed for fall break in October, then you can put that there and your clients will see it when they log in. Keeper does, just circling back to Keeper, it does automate asking clients questions. So you ask a question. So back when Megan and I started, here's what it looked like. We would email a client, we have these questions, and we would give them a list of questions. They might email us back with 3 of the 5 questions answered. So now I have to email them back and be like, you didn't answer these 2 questions. Can we talk about this? Or we'd have to get them on a call because completely spaced it, right? This automates it. You ask those 5 questions, they only answer 3. They're going to get another email with those other 2. You don't have to think about it too much.
All right, and I'll redrop the Keeper link. Sorry, y'all. For those of y'all who just hopped in, because I do see we had a few people just hop in if y'all are looking for that. But yeah, like I said, I wish Keeper was around when I first started. That would have been amazing.
I would have spent so much less time trying to figure out what I was doing, where I was
Right.
at, what I still need to do today. Their task list is pretty good. My only complaint would be that they don't have like a mobile app for us. But it would be really hard to like use Keeper on a mobile. Except like I wish there was like, the comments feature like with the team. Like I wish I could access that from my phone. Like a
Right,
chat
so you can at least
versus and then maybe see task. Like see my task list and see like questions from clients, questions from, comments. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be because in the car then I could like, hey, I'm parked, I can answer this question.
Yeah, exactly.
So no worries, Brad. We could always repost. Okay. And then for anyone wondering, I use Ignition. It used to be Practice Ignition. I would really recommend using Equip 360. I just always feel bad. Like I say that I use this other software and I never tell you what it is. Mainly because I think there are other options. And just starting out, like I did this because I wanted some of the automation that now Keeper and Equip 360 do, where I just didn't have that ability when I got started. So.
I'll redrop that link. It's Equip 360. Not quick. I know it's hard to.
Probably
There
my
you go,
text.
Brad.
Yeah. Cool.
And I use, as far as payment processing, I just process through QuickBooks Online. Have there been issues and stuff? Yes. I mean, if you're in any of the groups or you've been around long enough, you've seen some payment processing stuff. But kind of like Sherry was saying with hers, it hasn't been enough to make me go through the trouble of switching everybody over. So it's just like because it's just been a couple of one-off times that something's happened and it was just their back end and things didn't process like they should. And it's fairly like it's 1% and it caps, well, percentages and stuff change. So if you sign up now, it might be different. But when I signed up and I'm like grandfathered in, it's 1% and it caps out at $10 for ACH. And then it's like almost 3% for credit cards, I think. So it's about what everybody else is.
Yeah. And I let people pay, like if they're going to use a credit card, they're going to use a credit card. Like I don't, you can in some states pass that fee on to the client. But that's all stuff to consider when you're talking quoting, pricing, how are you going to maintain the expenses and still pay for yourself? There were a few months ago, we had a really long co-working call where we really deep dove into how to structure pricing so that you were profitable paying yourself. And that is a very complex topic in terms of thinking it all the way through, but it doesn't have to be. It can be really simple, right? So especially we talk about profit first. Mike Michalowicz, I enjoy him as an author, and simply put, like, you have to save for taxes, you have to pay yourself, you have to operate the business. And so as long as you probably need some savings in case you want to pay an annual subscription, pay for a Quick 360 and, you know, for a year or something like that. Like, those are options and you can take advantage of those discounts, but you might want to accrue some savings to be able to do that the following year. You can use a simple percentage to like divide those out, and then you're taking home like 50%. So if you're charging $350, you're going to take home like $275, $175. Can I do math? Yeah, 175. You know, maybe you're taking out 200 because your expenses are really low. But just pay attention to that, like, so that you're not caught in a bind. And you don't need much to get started. As far as our first proposals, engagement letters, I know Megan and I both scanned something to the client. Very old school. How far have we come in like just as a online, like, more people doing business online type of environment? Like, it's drastically changed since you and I started.
Definitely has.
Just like all the tools and like all the conveniences.
Yep.
And there were ways that we could have done it. It was free to scan a document over. Like, we didn't have all of that. So if you were doing that, Keeper, I think, have they come out with like being able to sign documents yet?
I don't think yet, but I think that's what I heard. It was in the works or something.
It's in the works. So you can use the Quick 360. You can send them a document. You can use Adobe Sign, which is like $15 a month. I think I had Adobe. For some reason, I couldn't send it to him from Adobe, but I remember it's like still $14 a month that I pay. I think it's been like $14 since then. Or maybe I let myself buy it after that or something. But Adobe Sign works, DocuSign works, scanning something over works if you're looking for an agreement. Keeper is coming out with something. So if you're like, and we could always look at the status of that. So that would be an option. But if you're like, hey, I need a website, I'm going to go full force, doing something like a Quick 360, you can automate that entire process. So the client gets on a call, they finish the call, they get an email from you saying, hey, thanks so much for joining the call. Here's the engagement letter we talked about. Like, you can start to automate different aspects of all of that inside of a Quick 360. So if I was going to start somewhere and do the work, because it is work to set up workflows and like websites and funnels and email marketing, etc., I would start there, because you're not going to have to change anytime soon. Like, it just covers so many things. Okay. Is there any other softwares? Canva is totally optional. Because if you're posting to Facebook, you can just change the background. and then your text is searchable. So if someone in your area is searching for like a local bookkeeper and you made a post about local bookkeepers, like the benefits of hiring local bookkeepers in like a Facebook post, it will come up. Whereas like your graphics aren't searchable. They're still fun to use. They still grab attention. There's still a purpose, but it's not essential. If you feel the need to go like pay for Canva at $15 a month or something, you don't have to.
Yep. And I think
ChatGPT
even
use for free.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you until I heard somebody a week or so ago was like, no, you have to have Chat GPT, like the paid version for it to save and remember your information. I'm like, I've had the free version for a very long, like I recently last week, I think upgraded because I was trying to get it to make a graphic and it wasn't doing it correctly. But like up until that point, I've been using ChatGPT for a very long time, the free version, and it's worked perfectly fine. Outside of every once in a while, it just gets off track. But I think that's everybody's ChatGPT. You just have to remind it, hey, remember, this is my voice or whatever the case is. It's AI.
I think I saw a like some sort of graphic or meme that's like ChatGPT, the employee you don't know when it's going to show up drunk.
Yeah, that is so true.
Like,
That is
not wrong
definitely true.
about ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's funny because sometimes I'll be like, okay, remember this, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right. This is not whatever because I always think about Cheryl and act like it's your friend.
Yeah, make friends with it. And then I've heard other people, be like, be bossy to it. And I think it just depends on like how you communicate and how
Yeah,
you make it like
it learns your
if
personality
it
at the
works
end
for
of
you
the
to
day.
be its friend, be its friend. If it works for you to be bossy, go be bossy.
Yeah,
Like I do both.
right.
Or I'm like starting out at its friend and then I'm like, no, can you just do the work now? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. What do you mean by looking for a local bookkeeper? What do I? Oh, I was just talking about like an example of how to like. So Facebook, if you searched like bookkeeper near me on Google, or if you searched it in Facebook, like if someone's looking for a bookkeeper, and they search like Phoenix bookkeeper, right? Do any of like would any of your posts show up? And what I meant by that is like graphics. If you put like, hey, I'm one of the top 10 bookkeepers in Phoenix based on a screenshot of like being rated as top 10, and it's all within a graphic, unless you typed a post, it's not going to come up in that search like Phoenix bookkeepers. Does that make sense? Whereas if you had typed a social media post out or done like a short post that has like a background in it instead of a graphic, that's searchable. So that's what I was talking about. So we were talking about Canva, and I was saying you might not need it right away. Some of you guys will never need Canva. You'll be able to get away without using it, and you don't. If you hire someone to do your website, they're going to do all the images and graphics for you, likely. Me and Megan do a lot of our own website stuff, so we pull out graphics and tweak them and edit them and stuff like that in Canva. So we use Canva pretty. In the past, I've used it really heavily. Once your website's done, it is done. You don't have to recreate it every year. There's really no reason. I would just be improving it, improving your email marketing, improving your workflows. And that's where Equip 360 would have saved me a ton of time over the years. It is fairly user friendly. It takes a little bit of work, but as far as like learning Wix or Squarespace, there's templates in there for you, and they have live support calls too, so you don't have to like just get on with support. You can just show up and say, "Can you look at this? I want it to do this. Can you show me what to do?" And you're going to learn it that way. Next time you can just do it. So, or they'll just click a button for you and you won't have to learn it. And we're going to say, "Thank you, Lord, that they can click a button." And we're going to go use it. So, okay. What else are you guys using that you want us to comment on or look at with you?
I also just want to throw in, like, don't feel like you have to have all the things, especially just starting out. Um, it gets so easy, especially when you're in all these Facebook groups and you're seeing, oh, this person says they're using that, and then you start seeing all these advertisements and all this stuff starts showing up on social media. You don't have to have all of the things. You don't have to spend all the money. It's easy to get shiny object syndrome and just chase all the things and sign up and pay and stuff. You can keep it as simple as you want, or you can make it as complicated as you want and spend as much as you want. But don't feel like you have to sign up for every single program, CRM, everything that comes out, and all the things either, because it's easy to get lost in that, especially where we're at. And once you start getting in groups with other bookkeepers, you start seeing them saying they're using that, all that stuff starts showing up on Facebook.
Equip 360 is your CRM. So it tracks your leads. It does appointment setting for you. So if you're like, "Oh, I really want Calendly, I don't want to use Google Meet or Google Appointments," like I said earlier, Equip 360 covers that for you. And you can still sync it to Google Meet. You can use Zoom. You can use the free version of Zoom too. And that will all connect to your Microsoft email or your Google Workspace email. So you'll just connect all together. A domain, we didn't talk about domains. As you're setting up your business, we walk through in the Bookkeeper Blueprint everything that you need like that, like your Google Workspace, your domain. So when you set up a business email, you'll set up a domain. We show you how to do that all pretty inexpensively. Today, we just wanted to make sure that you knew exactly what you needed as far as like essentials to bring money in the door. So Megan was saying you can use abcbookkeeping@gmail.com, right? You don't need a domain. At the point that you're like, "Hey, I want to be Denise@abcbookkeeping.com," we show you all of that in the bookkeeping blueprint, bookkeeper blueprint. And if you're like, "I don't know what to say to clients, I don't know what to email them, I don't know how to ask for stuff," and that feels overwhelming, we have a ton of email templates. We have how to organize stuff. We have example engagement letters, disengagement letters, price increases. Hey, this is what I found when you looked at your QuickBooks file. Just all the little things that you're like, you get in, a client's asking you to do something and you're like, "How do I execute this?" There's a ton of templates and workflows and things like that that you can put into Keeper. You can put into QuickBooks Online. So there's like a task flow system in QuickBooks Online. You can insert some of our stuff, the wording. You can save templates in Google Workspace. You can put them into Equip 360. Like, you can put them into Keeper as well. So Keeper allows you to template out emails and email clients through the portal. So then you can get away from you being dependent on your Gmail, your Google, well, your email, whatever email platform you're using can connect to Keeper. And so when you log into Keeper, you basically only have to have Keeper and QuickBooks up. Just get away, close your email. connect it, close your email, you might have your calendar up. Like that's it. Okay, what would the calendar link for Google Workspace look like? So if you were to book a private coaching call with me, you get a Google Workspace link. It comes up just like really just like Calendly. You can ask questions and do all of those things. Let me see if I can pull up an example. Oh, so like I do, for instance, so if a client, oh, I just closed you guys out. Let me find you. So I do a forwarding on a domain. Oh, actually, this might not come up. Pause that. Yeah, it did. Okay. So this is in, I guess this is in Equip 360. So this replaces Calendly. And then let me show you the one in Google Meet. So it just looks like this when they go to it. And then and then when they go to schedule, I think I'm like momentarily blacked off. So this is what they see. And then you can ask them questions. And so when they click on a date, they can answer questions, just like Calendly. And then you don't have to pay for it. And we use Calendly pretty heavily, and I've used it pretty heavily in the past, as far as like workflows and stuff like that. All of that without Calendly, like because of Equip 360, you can replace it. And so you don't have a website cost and Calendly. You can streamline all of that. It could have just been scheduled, Cameron. Like somehow it probably just got scheduled. There is a whole section in, just to circle back to like your business setup, software, tech stack. There's a whole section inside of the Bookkeeper Blueprint where we hold your hand through all of that. If you get stuck along the way, for any reason, something's not working with the domain, something comes up, Megan and I are available via the private coaching calls. If you get stuck with your Facebook page or name and you're like, what do I name this thing? How do I pick the name? I've got these three I'm trying to decide on. We can always, don't get stuck. Like if it's been 24 hours, no more than 72 hours, and you're like, I don't know why, or I don't know why this is going on from a bookkeeping perspective. I can't move forward with this. I'm stuck here. Lean on those coaching calls. So me, Megan, and all of our team of coaches would be more than happy to get you unstuck, because we've all had that moment of, I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. And that could be bookkeeping, that can be domain registration, that can be just whatever is keeping you stuck in your business, like setting up a Gmail and you can't figure out if you want to do at Gmail or at the domain, and we can talk it through and figure out, like, let's make a decision and move forward. And we're happy to help in that regard. Awesome, Brad. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, the only reason it would send would be like it was previously scheduled, Cameron. I was just trying to see if I missed any other questions. Yeah, Calendly I no longer have to use. So I think I have fully canceled Calendly. Or like down to the free version now.
When you say previously scheduled, you mean as a recurring transaction, right?
No, you can just schedule a sales receipt. So like when it was set up, like it was like a sales receipt might have gotten created and then like a date put in to send it. And so
Cameron,
that would show up in the audit log.
yeah, and when you go to the, like, when you're in the sales receipt, there's an audit log for the sales receipt itself too that you could pull up. Have you looked into that?
No.
Okay, do you, so when
Yeah.
you're in the sales receipt at the bottom, there's a button that says more. And if you hit more, I think it says audit log there, or it might say account or a history or something. I don't remember exactly right off the top of my head, but it's something along those lines, and it's gonna pull up the screen, but it should show you who created it and stuff like that there.
Yeah, look at that. Okay.
Okay. Well, that is, Megan, did I get all the points? Is there anything else we were going to cover? Sorry if I missed anything.
No, I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it.
Coolio. Well, if you guys do look at or join the Bookkeeper Blueprint, Megan and I do onboarding calls every week. So if you need, so those are Mondays and then Wednesdays right now, right? That's how they're scheduled.
Yep.
So, and you'll get instant access, and then the onboarding call is just to make sure you have a smooth transition in, and you get everything you need for your bookkeeping to move your bookkeeping business forward. Moving forward is what we like to do. Okay, I don't see any more questions. I will see you guys next week.
All right, y'all have a good weekend. Bye.
Peace.